did it. We are here for the season finale, season two, as we continue on our series, sharing stories that matter to us, sharing them with each other, and then talking about it with you. This week, for our grand finale, well, first of all, I welcome everybody back. Thank you, Kat, Riley, JT, and Daniel. I'm really proud of us for finishing the season. I genuinely am. Um, and as always, this podcast is rated S for spoilers. So, Daniel, Daniel, what movie did you pick for us, and why did you pick it?
Okay, so the movie that I decided to go with was Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. Obviously, the past, I guess it was 4 movies, have been kind of, thriller or kind of movies that were a bit sadder or had darker or deeper undertones. So once I kind of realized I was going to be the last one up, I was like, do you know what? Let's lighten the mood a bit. But I still wanted to choose something that was, meaningful to me. Movies you missed, it's, not about the movies you missed, it's about the movies that matter.
To
So
you.
I wanted to, well, it matters to all of us now. um, so I wanted to go with something that, kind of brought me back to my childhood. I was a really, really big like Scooby Doo fan, still am. But like the cartoons and these live action movies really brought me into the kind of thriller, psychological thriller, you know, movies that are made now. Um, and those who done it type of things. Um, and I went with Monsters Unleashed, so the second one of this live action franchise, because most of you guys have seen the first one, so I had to go with this one. But to be fair, I kind of feel like this movie, although it is a sequel, you could watch it before watching the first one, and you would still know what's happening. Um, Basically, this movie, it was created in 2004. Um, It is a live action and computer animated. It's considered a horror comedy, but I don't know if I would really consider it horror. But it is, again, it's the second installment, directed by Raja Gosnell and written by James Gunn, who we know from Guardians. Um, it stars Freddie Prinze Jr. as Fred, Sarah Michelle Gellar as Daphne, Linda Cardellini as Velma, Matthew Lillard as Shaggy, and then it also does star Alicia Silverstone, Seth Green, Tim Blake Nelson, and Peter Boyle as some of the other characters. But that is the kind of the core cast. Basically, this movie is kind of really bringing you back to the original cartoon. If you watched the original, you know all of the monsters that were, made an appearance. The pterodactyl ghost, the tar monster, the zombie, the minor 49er, and everybody else. These were all characters from the original cartoon that, we got to see, and we got to see get exposed and unmasked. Basically, they are kind of all part of a museum. They're all of the costumes are in a museum, and the evil character gets to take the costumes and basically do some magic science fun stuff and bring the costumes to life. So now, instead of these monsters being real life people wearing a mask, they're now, kind of real monsters, and the gang has to try to stop the monsters from invading Coolsville and taking over. And a lot of your basic Scooby-Doo plot. They're trying to stop the villain, unmask them, figure out who it is, and have some other little shenanigans along the way, and some other fun plot points that you don't normally see. But it was a lot of fun. Again, like I mentioned before, I believe that you could watch this movie before the first live action, which is from 2002, and you would still know what's happening. If anything, you probably should watch this one first because you kind of get to know the characters a bit more and how they act and how they are, and all of that. But yeah, it's one of my favorite movies from childhood, and I was glad to be able to show it to you guys and share it with you, and share my love of the do. But yeah, the Scooby Doo. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think of it. You know, were you enjoying the movie, and your thoughts and prayers?
I thought, like, at first it was like, okay, Scooby Doo, like, I'm a person who's always grouchy about liking the originals and the cartoon that I grew up on, which is all amazing animation, drawn animation, not this digital hocus pocus that people have going on right now. And so I get really like guarded about remakes or of anything. But watching it was really a big throwback, and they did really well in recreating the monsters from my childhood. Like I could recognize every single one of the monsters because Scooby-Doo was big in our house too growing up. My first crush was Fred. I don't know, maybe it was the orange neckerchief. But I remember being like, oh, I love Fred. It's a classic. Right? Is that what it is? An ascot?
It's called an ascot.
I thought that was one of these things. Like that tucks in like this.
I could be wrong. I thought it was an ascot.
This is an ascot. This is a neckerchief. I don't know. Whatever. It's not a dickie. I know that much. But anyways, so
moving on.
You know, Dickies, like fake turtleneck thing. That's what they're called. Yes. Anyways, God, Steve. What was I saying? Yeah, so I was pretty protective of that. I was kind of grouchy about the CGI with Scooby-Doo. I think they casted well. Again, major nostalgia with everyone that was cast in this movie. Like you said, Steve, it seemed like everybody from the 90s was in this movie. And so that was good. But something that hit me that you had said, I guess, now and before we watched it, Daniel, that made me look at it in a different way and appreciate it more, was that it was what got you into like mysteries and like that kind of suspenseful TV shows that now as an older person are a lot more graphic and bad, but it got you into that like whodunit mentality. And that really struck a chord with me because I think that played a big part for me and my sister as well growing up. Just being able to be part of that mystery and that kind of having that little bit of spookiness, but knowing that it always wraps up nicely in the end. That really made me go back and think about the stuff that I watched and how influential, I guess, that show really is. So I think they did a really good job respecting the attitude and the villains of our day, or my day, I should say, and kind of bringing it up a notch and giving that nostalgic 90s vibe of all of those characters. So I enjoyed it. I did. It was cute, it was funny, and it was something that I think as an adult watching with younger people, if I had kids, would be a really good way to pull me into that movie as well. So well done.
Kudos,
good sir. You have to edit that, Steve.
Sorry.
Just telling Steve you had to edit it.
I also really enjoyed this film, but before I talk about it, I have a confession to make. I never watched the original cartoon for Scooby-Doo. My first introduction to Scooby-Doo was this weird DVD that like just came to mind that I was kind of looking over my shoulder to see if we still have, where I think it was a Scooby-Doo Batman collab.
Oh, yeah.
That happened. That took place.
I think that's the only time that I ever watched Scooby Doo before watching the first live action. And I think even now, I think I've only seen like one episode of the original cartoon. So this movie, it didn't have that sense of nostalgia to me of, you know, all of the original characters and monsters and all of that type of deal. But you know, when I watched like the Scooby-Doo and Batman and the first Scooby-Doo, like I was quite young. I mean, what, the first Scooby-Doo live action came out 2002, which was a year before I was born, so I watched it quite young. So it still does have that sense of nostalgia for me. And I really enjoyed it. I never watched the second one. I only ever watched the first one. I think it's because I really like Scrappy Doo. Yeah, I never watched the second one. I don't know why, but I had a lot of fun watching it. I recognized some of the lines from the movie, from like different like clips that I would see online, or audio clips that I would hear on like TikTok and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool to sort of see where it was from. But I had a lot of fun watching the movie, and I laughed more than I thought I would. So it was a lot of fun.
I didn't Scooby mind it. That was wow. That was bad.
I think you have to keep that in.
Nope, edit that out.
I Scooby did. There, that's a little better. I have a
Sure.
confession to make. What? Go ahead.
I said sure.
Yeah. I have a confession to make. I never liked Scooby Doo growing up, so I could never figure out the mysteries, and I don't like it when shows think they're smarter than me.
Are smarter than you?
It seems like the shows don't think they're smarter than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people I say that to has the same reaction. I enjoyed it when they brought in Scrappy Doo because the mysteries got dumber. And
See, that's when I was out. I think I grew out of that.
I just never got into it. I didn't mind it when they did like the collab episodes. Like I remember the one with Batman. Also good. Scooby Doo meets the Harlem Globetrotters.
I was gonna say the Harlem Globetrotters.
That's
They
a good
did
episode.
like bands.
They did.
They did other like famous actors and the A-Team.
The A-Team. Scooby Doo gets around. All right, Scooby Doo gets around. So I don't have the same love for the franchise. We do have this, but it's not mine. This is my kids. But I have.
You have to go for a walk, Steve, with the dog when the scary parts of Scooby Doo came on. Is that
Yes,
why
it
you
is.
couldn't get into it?
Not like The Conjuring. I'll tell you that one.
Oh, I forgot we made you watch The Conjuring.
He did it. He took the dog for a walk.
For a walk.
You was. You
Scary.
was.
I couldn't do it. I did it. Anyway. That's
We have to make him watch Insidious.
I know.
That movie very much scared
that was one of the movies that. Oh, sorry.
Back to Scoobs.
Oh, sorry.
But so I mean, I have respect for the franchise. I don't have the deep love for the franchise that everybody does, but I do respect the franchise, and it's cute. I like what they were doing. But having said that, I actually thought this movie was a hoot, and I think part of that was because, you know, like you said, Kat, I connected it differently than Daniel would have as a kid because I'm looking at it, and I'm like, my gosh, everyone in this was like, okay, when I say hot, I don't mean they were like super attractive. I mean they were all big names.
Was it the neckerchief?
Love that neckerchief. Linda Cardellini, ironically, was like the least big name, though she's probably done more stuff
Since then, yeah.
since then. But I mean, like the fact that Freddie Prinze and Sarah Michelle Gellar was like, she was just coming off of Buffy.
And she was Buffy-ish in this movie.
She was. I actually respected the fact that they gave her a whole storyline where it was her trying to not be, you know, I'm not just his girlfriend, you know.
The damsel in distress.
Yeah. I liked that this one played with the stereotypes more than the first one, I thought. I did see the first one. I never bothered to see the sequel because again, just wasn't like super in love with it. But it was fun. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. I couldn't believe that James Gunn wrote the thing. Um, and then apparently on the press tour for what did he just do? Oh, his last movie, whatever it was. Somebody said, "Are they doing Scooby Doo 3?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'd consider writing a third one." I'm like, "Really? Of all time?" Like now you're talking about this 20 years later. But no, it was fun. I could see why this would be a fun movie for you, especially for your childhood. And it's a lot more fun than the Zodiac. I absolutely can say that. And what was the one that Kat made us watch? The Imposter.
Mhm.
There it is. Yeah.
There were imposters in Scooby-Doo as well, and you guys didn't watch The Imposter. You all fell asleep and did other things. You're uneducated.
I watched it. I sat through it all.
Count
I
on you,
didn't.
Ren.
I took a snack. I took a nap.
You took a snack, you say.
I took a snack in The Imposter. No, I was out cold in that one. I was not in this one. I had fun.
I'm just kidding.
JT, what did you think about Monsters Unleashed?
I didn't like it. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
I didn't grow up on Scooby Doo, but I guess maybe that's probably a part of it. I saw an episode like once or twice as a kid. But yeah, this movie just made it was just very wacky. Didn't really make a lot of sense. I can see why it wasn't nominated for an Oscar or anything.
I've trained you so
It
well.
was.
Now you're saying the lingo.
But yeah, I mean, they don't even. It's so out of reality that it puts you off. They never address why Scooby Doo can talk.
He can't. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be a twist if it was just that Shaggy was high the whole time?
I thought it was just he was a burnout and always thought the dog was talking.
That would make sense, actually, if that was.
Because it's some form of pot-induced psychosis.
Nobody else can hear the dog except Shaggy.
That's why they always do the side quests alone.
That's right. That's right. It's like The Sixth Sense.
Make a dark movie of that, and he's trying to talk about
Drug-induced psychosis.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, they never address it, and they're just talking the whole movie. And then some things don't make sense. How are they getting money? How old are these kids? Why is the city letting them do this? Is the city paying them? And then there's one scene where they're turning they're one scene he turns buff, and then one scene where Scooby Doo's a genius. They're playing around with the chemicals. I'm in reality that would just melt your face off. It just makes no sense.
Again, it was only when he was with Shaggy, drug-induced psychosis.
Yeah, maybe.
JT wanted a grittier, more grounded and realistic Scooby Doo, where he's a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
With a thirst for human blood. That's what.
He's a German Shepherd.
That's right. That's right.
Shaggy's dog from childhood that passed away, and he just can't give him up.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, it's just the third movie that he's writing is just a really dark Scooby Doo that's vaguely based off of the Babadook.
Oh,
The Scuba Duck.
it's the Babadoo. I of all the things to criticize in Scooby Doo, I didn't expect it to be the talking dog. I just didn't see that coming.
But yeah, and then I don't know, it was kind of predictable too. You could guess who the guy was, who's the big villain secretly acting as a normal person.
I didn't get it.
You didn't get what?
I didn't figure out the villain.
The bad guy, well, Scooby-Doo still holding it shots up on the bargain with Steve 40 years later.
Still got a hold on me. That dumb dog and his... I would have figured it out, too, if it wasn't for that dog and his dumb kids.
The dog and his dumb kid.
I know what I said.
Yeah, and then I don't know, the villain was kind of forgettable too. Like, what was his motivation again? He wanted to help his to be evil. I think he wanted to help make news stories of people getting injured or something. I don't know. It was dumb.
Was he watching a different movie?
Like, why was he doing that all that stuff again? I forgot.
Because he's a mean, bad man, and he wants all the money.
But he didn't make any money doing that stuff.
He would have robbing places.
Oh, well, I mean, if he was that smart to make things come alive, he should just sell that. Why is he robbing banks?
He's gone about this entirely the wrong way.
Honestly, I need to watch The Wolf of Wall Street. Maybe he'll learn a couple things.
If we all rewatch it and take acid before starting the movie,
well, then we'll just be like Shaggy.
Maybe it'll just make sense.
The whole thing.
Yeah, you can debate the weird like social commentary with Shaggy beside you.
Yeah. You guys don't all have Scooby-Doos in your house.
They're like house hippos, but just Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So what's it called? The villain, Jacobo, he was trying to get revenge on Mystery Inc. As he was like their first like unmasking or whatever. So he was sent to prison, and then he broke out of prison, and he sought to get revenge by discrediting them using his Heather Jasper Howe persona. And then later trying to defeat them with the new monsters.
Oh my god. I thought the villain was what's his face? Seth Green. I forgot that.
No, they wanted you to think that at one point.
Yeah.
So the movie was doing what it was trying to do.
I'd like to point out that JT didn't figure it out either. So I'm not alone.
He has a very
This whole podcast is just like the pieces getting put together.
He had to make another persona as a woman and then be a journalist.
As Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have to. He just wanted to.
That's how the villains do it. They get into different things. Just kidding.
He should have just sold his formula to bring things to life, and he could have got rich off that. The Robin.
So good. I think that could be said by every single villain of the Scooby-Doo empire. Like, if you just put as much effort into what you were doing instead of creating the monsters that you do, millionaire.
You know what I did like, and it was not this movie. It was Scoob. Recently, there was a movie called Scoob.
Oh, I tried to put that on for day camp kids, and we never got through it.
I liked it, but people didn't like it because it was like they tried to be too Hanna-Barbera and not enough Scooby.
I could see that from the beginning animation.
I liked that they opened it up, and it was like Scooby was a part. Like they had Captain Caveman in that. They had Dick Dastardly and Muttley. They had all sorts of Hanna-Barbera characters that I do remember from as a kid. I like that. Blue Falcon. But it's very different than this.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying. Good.
Hanna-Barbera was a little bit before me, like just a touch before me.
What was?
Hanna-Barbera, like those kind of guys. Because I remember like the Flintstones and that dog, but I don't remember like Blue Falcon.
Right. Well, they had I used to watch the reruns because obviously I know we joke about me being old, but I mean,
On your wind up internet.
yeah, the internet. Oh, child. Wind up TV.
Yeah.
But we had, I mean, I saw the
Talking about
reruns of like not Space Race. It was they were all driving cars. I can't think of the
Yes, I remember what you're talking about with the helmet, the white
Wacky
helmet.
Races. Wacky Races, is that what it was?
I can't remember,
I
but
remember that. I was very young.
NASCAR.
No, it wasn't NASCAR. It was and they were all in it. They were all in it. But
Mario Kart.
yeah,
yeah.
I gotta look it up now.
One thing that was brought up earlier when we were talking about the villain, that it was the one thing about this movie that kind of took like caught me off guard a bit, was that weird little middle section of like random social commentary about how the media just portrays all things as bad. And it was a really odd just segment to have, in my mind at least, in a Scooby Doo movie, of this just section of social commentary about how like the media can twist people's words into whatever they want it to be.
That's right. I'd forgotten about that part of the movie.
Yeah, it was just this random little middle section where they were talking about the whole social aspect of Fred getting slammed by the media.
You know, in all seriousness, and this sounds like I'm juking to the left, but I think that was a very late 90s theme. There were lots of movies about that at the time. Now, this movie's 2004, but I'm talking about like 90, maybe 98 to 2004. Even like Batman Forever is sort of about that media manipulation. Then Truman Show was 98. I'm trying to think, but there was another show called Ed TV, another movie called Ed TV. But there seemed to be a really interesting self-awareness of media manipulation within the media. You're right, it pops up on here for sure. I thought that was very interesting too. I'd forgotten about that, but you're right.
It just caught me off guard because, you know, in my mind, Scooby Doo is wacky, solve mystery, haha, at the end rip a mask off a face, not let's sit down and discuss, you know.
You have to solve mysteries. What is it about these evil people that need more? It's deeper than you think.
I don't think it is.
Well, Steve can't solve them. So.
She's not wrong.
There could be and crapped on the movie for the mystery to solve.
JT just didn't like it because he couldn't solve it.
I'm telling you, it's like the Zodiac killer. You all thought you'd figured out the Zodiac, but nobody saw the ending of Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed coming. Do you think this film could have been made today? And I don't mean like with the same people, obviously.
With us in it?
With what?
With us?
Yeah, could we make it right now? No. Cat's Got a Doll. We can just sub that into Scooby-Doo. But I mean, the way that it was made, is there anything that you notice and you're like, well, that's very much of its time, pretty outdated. And maybe not. I'm just thinking about this. I did wonder if they would have changed how they handled Velma and Daphne. Like Daphne's story, I liked, I mean, the idea of her not just being the girlfriend, but I'm still not entirely sure that they accomplished that in the movie. They
made her stronger. And they pointed to that, I think, in her storyline. But they couldn't change who they are, because then it wouldn't be a remake. It would just be a different movie.
Right. It's fair.
I like that they gave Buffy her Buffy powers as Daphne. Like, even I was like, Daphne is not supposed to be this like cool or like put together, but I accepted it. Times are a changing.
Times are a changing in 2004. Welcome to the 21st century, Cat.
I get scared when they start to do things again, like now, like 2004. Okay, you could do your remake. I appreciated it, but like they started doing a bunch of. This is me going off on a tangent, so you can just edit here. Okay, so like when I was young, those cartoons meant a lot. Like the Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, even, and Gem and the Holograms. They all meant a lot, and I, to this day, have never sat down and watched the remake of Gem and the Holograms because from the trailer, I refused. I flat out refused to watch it because I'm such a hardcore fan. But I feel like that's what they would do with Scooby Doo now, right? Like, what would you do to make it better than the 2004 movie? You couldn't.
I don't know why, but I feel like if they were to make a Scooby-Doo movie now where they wanted to keep like the original character tropes without changing it for like the 21st century, I feel like they would I have a feeling they would do one of those cheap like, oh, they were fighting a villain and got transported in time to
like Jumanji.
Yeah. And it would just be like, it would be kind of like, oh, that was okay, I guess. There was a funny scene where Fred couldn't figure out how to use a cell phone and something like that. But it would just be like, it wouldn't be the same.
Eddie Murphy as Scooby, Kevin Hart as Shaggy, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Fred.
I would watch that. I'd watch the heck out of that. Are you kidding me?
Kendall Jenner as Daphne.
Oh my goodness.
Can we just have like a reality show with those people? Like, I'm in. You've sold me on this show.
They would have to tiptoe around so many landmines now. Yeah. I feel like they would CGI the heck out of it, and it would just turn into something that I shook my fist at.
I think they'd probably go with more practical effects for the talking dog because that's really the most grounded.
Listen, I want pencil drawings. I don't want any 3D animation. I want 1984.
Back in my day.
Yeah. Where it's just someone drawing in a flip book on the TV.
Yeah, not many people realize it, but the original cartoon was live.
Just... If you look carefully, you can see their thumb in the corner.
That's right. That's right. It's really impressive. Really impressive.
Each cartoon was 14 seconds, but man, it packed a punch.
Scooby Dooby Doo. And that was it. That was all they had. That's all they had. I
told you not to eat peanut butter for lunch. The pages are sticking.
Ew.
Also, in my mind, I feel like something they would do if they made it now is they would have one of those cliche nerdy girl takes off her glasses and something.
Yeah.
They did that in this.
But they did it in a better way.
They literally did it in this. That was the whole point.
They did, but what I feel like they wouldn't do now is have the switch at the end.
Yeah, where she goes back.
Where the guy was like, I didn't even like you that way. Like, I liked you for being your nerdy self.
But that's what they said at the end.
No, but that's what they're saying. They're saying that nowadays they wouldn't switch it back. They would have just kept it hot.
Wait, so you're saying that now, if they film this, that Velma would just stay the hot girl now? Like, they would be like, now that you're... Wait, what?
Yes.
No way. They'd never get away with
it.
Yeah.
That's why it would be a terrible remake now.
Yeah, no, we're saying it would be an awful movie if they made it now.
But I'm saying they'd never do that. Like, what?
Yeah, I feel like now they wouldn't even have that, like, I'm going to put on a latex suit and take off my glasses. They wouldn't do that.
but I feel like they would have a scene where she, like, I don't know, like maybe now if they got transported to the 21st century, she gets like, I don't know, like
wrapped in a mini skirt and like
or something, and doesn't have to wear her glasses anymore. And now all of a sudden, Fred's like, "Oh my lord!"
What is she?
Yeah,
fall into a
they would
laser
sex
eye
up
surgery
Velma for
machine?
sure.
What does she fall into a laser eye surgery machine or something? Like what? The heck is
Maybe.
that?
Final
She
Destination
lost her
5.
glasses- She lost her glasses and got really lost this time.
Yeah, she just within the first 30 minutes she's gone. Yeah, I don't know if I don't think they could do it or if I don't want them to do it.
I think they could. I actually think that it would just be it would be different. Like, but
The Family Channel TV show.
yeah, it would
Oh,
be a
Shaggy.
Netflix series. That's what it would be.
But okay, so bring it back like Riverdale. Make it super dark.
I would watch that.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Archie's back and he's hot.
Do as an acid trip.
Yes, do it 100%. Do it Riverdale. So it's like they come and they're in this town. What's it called? Coolsville, Boozeville.
Yes.
You know, they come
Coolsville.
back from wherever they were, and there's been a series of grisly murders. But all they find is pieces of latex costume at each site. Like
They're tracking a
Velma's
serial
the-
killer. It would either just be called Do or Scooby Don't to differentiate. Anything more about Scooby Doo?
I don't know. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I never when I was thinking about this, like, I know it's not the best, best written, best movie, but I think it's fun. It's stupid. It's something that a kid, like, I probably watched it when I was, I don't know, probably 4 or 5. Like, you can watch it then and it's silly enough and colorful enough that, a kid's gonna enjoy it, but it still has those things where it's an adult's gonna be like, I recognize these characters, so I kind of enjoy it in that way, but also, they add in that little bit of kind of like adult humor and stuff that's not too wild and crazy where it's like, okay, take it back, but it was a fun movie for me that kind of meant something. And honestly, I was going into this podcast, I was like, okay, I feel like everyone's going to be like, that was trash, so I'm happy with the response that it's gotten. I would love to know who's your guys' favorite of the mystery gang, and also, is the mystery machine now your dream car? Because it was when I was a kid.
That's not even yours, Steve. Don't try and bring that out now.
Steve's still trying to figure out how to drive it.
I'm still trying to figure out the end of this movie.
I think that it just does show, Daniel, that it is a good movie in the sense that, like, you could watch it when you're 5 and enjoy it, and I can see it at 41 and be like excited to see like who was in it and kind of have those like nostalgia vibes from when I was younger. So I think in that respect, it does what it needs to do as a movie. The Mystery Machine, the biggest question is how they keep fixing it, because it keeps getting stuck in swamps. It keeps getting stuck.
Well, the biggest question is who's paying the bills.
Who's fixing the Mystery Machine?
It's like the Paw Patrol. Who's bankrolling these guys? I'm sorry, solving mysteries. Not a big market in there. Nobody hires you.
In Coolsville?
Yeah, because I think the city does. Duh.
Did you say the BBC does?
No, the city does. Just in Lego Batman.
It's the BBC. You know the BBC. They love a good mystery.
The British Broadcasting Channel.
They got money to burn. It's like, those kids and their talking dog. That's who we need right now.
Although they've only ever heard that it's a talking dog. No one's ever.
That's right.
Yeah, no one's ever
seen it.
seen.
They've never
Apparently it
seen a dog.
only speaks to Shaggy. I think as a kid, Fred was my favorite character. I don't know why. Maybe he was just the one in charge. But as I've grown, I'm
As I've
really,
matured.
really resonating with Shaggy these days. I mean, he just kind of stumbles into fixing things. He's got a talking dog. He's pretty chill all the time. And he knows how to have a good time. So I guess Shaggy and Scooby, if he exists.
Shaggy likes to have some fun, that Shaggy.
Right? He knows how to experience
Yeah, it's a
what's
good
happening,
time.
you know?
He's-
That's my take.
When I was younger, my favorite character was Scooby, although I'm doubting whether he even exists at this point. But honestly, like for the first bit of the movie, Shaggy like really annoyed me, but then he like really grew on me. And but I think the point that sold me on him was that whole this day is paired with the worst day of my life. And then Velma asked, what's the worst day of your life? And he said, every other day of my life. Honestly, I think I was sold on that. But in terms of the Mystery Machine, I unironically almost bought a VW camper bus like last year because I wanted to put like a bed back there and like a mini fridge and like go like traveling this year.
Like a hippie.
You can do that without a bed in the back seat.
Like a hippie. Well, where am I going to sleep? I'm not going to sleep sitting up. I'm not like a psychotic 80-year-old that just falls asleep in their like wheelchair. I need a bed.
What? That got very specific.
That did get very
That was a very specific analogy.
in their wheelchairs sitting
Riley.
at Shady Oaks.
Yeah. And his name
Wearing
is
a blue
Mark
shirt.
Jefferson. And he's
We know Riley has something out for an 80-year-old who
right.
sleeps in wheelchair. Friggin' Susan.
Listen, I just thought it would be fun. I thought it would be cool, but then I didn't. So, you know.
it's fair. It's fair. It's an iconic.
You still do it.
visual.
They're expensive.
Get all that money that your job owes you.
Velma. She's attractive. with
the
the glasses.
click of the tongue, really.
love the bells. Shaggy, you know what? I will say that Shaggy often grates on me, but I love Matthew Lillard as Shaggy.
Yeah, I think he does a good job.
And now he is Shaggy. Now I don't mean like he's physically Shaggy. I mean he's doing the voice. He's been doing the voice for like 20 years. He's been doing the voice ever since these movies, which I didn't know until recently. And you know who I hate? Fred. Sorry, Freddie. Love Freddie Prinze.
I could see that now.
Can't stand Fred. He's a chump. He's a chump.
Is it because he solves the mysteries? I'm kind of jealous.
That's it. He's the brains, and it really. No, I wouldn't be into Velma if that was the case.
That's true.
No, I never got his deal. I'm like, dude, why are you wearing like the sailor's outfit? What's up with that? I don't get him. I don't get him. No, I'm all about the Vels.
And what would you do with it? Would you want the mystery machine?
Oh wait. Oh, is that the question? Do I want the mystery machine?
Yeah,
Well-
is that now your new dream car?
No, it isn't.
Well,
Any answer other than Kit from Knight Rider is incorrect. That's
Say 1975.
excuse me, that was 1985. Don't even. Or the DeLorean from Back to the Future. That's
Boring.
easy.
the mystery machine. Love the car. I'm leaving it in the lot, and I'm driving away in one of those two. I'm telling you right now.
hey,
I feel like the DeLorean would be really uncomfortable to sit in with all of like the sciencey stuff around.
Don't care. It travels through time.
I skip it.
And we didn't even talk about the film. They just want to know who your favorite character is.
Oh, okay. I guess it's maybe Velma. No, actually, maybe Scooby Doo.
We do.
Wait, the reason you hated the movie is your favorite character?
That's how bad the movie was.
Oh, I'm sorry. The movie's so bad.
That's my favorite.
Character is the worst thing about it. Wow.
Maybe I guess Velma, but then and she was like a sellout when she did that this whole latex suit thing. But then I don't know.
Bad guy.
He was pretty. I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite character in this movie. Yeah.
It's fair.
Would you own the Mystery Machine if you could?
You can own it now. You just gotta paint it. You can get a
and repaint it.
Yeah.
And just paint it gray. It's just cover over the whole thing.
Yeah, I'd own it. I mean, I would prefer something electric, but if they're just giving them out, you know.
The Mystery Machine is not eco-friendly. It's a gas guzzler. It's a gas guzzler. Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Runs mostly on diesel.
I'll answer the questions. After watching like the first and the second live action, like initially when I was younger, my favorite was Daphne because Sarah Michelle Gellar. Now though, my favorite is Velma because as I have grown, I love some smarts. Hate the color orange, but whatever.
Yeah.
I know. Velma's definitely like now my favorite. I love Linda Cardellini, so, and I mean still like Sarah Michelle Gellar. So definitely when I was younger, I guess that's not really celebrity crushes, but like character crushes, Velma and Daphne. And yes, I would drive the Mystery Machine. Again, when I was younger, honestly, like that was, when I'm older, like I want to get a minivan or whatever and paint it to look like the Mystery Machine.
If I ever minivan painted as the Mystery Machine, I think I would just immediately hurl myself off the nearest bridge.
Okay. Well, but yeah, I think that would be cool. I've seen like people are actually doing that. I think actually Matthew Lillard is sponsoring like an Airbnb. It's like a weird like travel Airbnb, and I think it's a van that looks like it's painted to look like the Mystery Machine.
See, I would do that.
Yeah. So I don't know, but those are, my answers. But yeah, I would love to know. I mean, my pick for if it's a screen it or skip it. I mean, I think if you've watched Scooby Doo when you were younger, or are just now getting into it, or are younger and are kind of like, oh, I've heard of this. Like, it's a silly little live action adaptation of the cartoon. I think that's one of the reasons for me why I'm okay with obviously not everything being realistic, is because it's basically the cartoon just with live people and a 3D animated dog. But yeah, I think it's fun. It's it can get people into those like mysteries and thrillers if that's what they're into. And in all honesty, like this movie is better than some of the like psychological thrillers I've seen in recent years. You know, especially some of the ones that are like Netflix originals. Unless Netflix ever wants to sponsor, then Netflix is the best. But yeah, like I would screen it. You know, it's fun. So what about you all? Screen it or skip it?
I'm really on the fence because I really enjoyed the movie and I had a lot of fun watching it. And I agree with what you're saying about, like, you know, like if Scooby Doo is part of your childhood, like this movie, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be that really fun throwback for you, not just for the original cartoon, but for all of the actors and actresses in it and that whole sort of era that it's set in. Like that's gonna be a really fun throwback for you. But also I feel like if you don't see it, it's not gonna be the end of the world, right? Like the I could have lived happily by just not seeing the second one. I think no, okay, no, like
I could have
I get
lived
what they're
a
saying,
happy
though.
and full life by skipping this film.
no,
But,
let
but
me
now
finish.
I've seen it.
Let me finish my sentence. I'm not done speaking. Okay, I saw the first one, right? And I had no intention of seeing the second one.
This is getting better and better.
I have a point, and you're not letting me get to it.
It's so much fun to keep you from it. Anyway, go ahead.
I saw the first one. I had no intention of seeing the second one. For a long time, I didn't even know that there was a second one, but I had no intention of seeing the second one. Am I glad I saw the second one? Yes, I am. But do I feel like you have to see it? No. So, therefore, I don't know. That's my
one indecisive person. I get what Riley is saying. Like, I lived a long and happy life before this movie, and
I didn't say it like
no,
that.
I mean, like,
I could have been totally happy for the rest of my life had I not seen this film.
I get it. It's like 100% that if you haven't seen it, it's not something you're gonna go run out and get. But if you have kids of your own and you remember that nostalgia of Scooby Doo and kind of want to share it with them, you should watch it and sit down with them because you will enjoy it. Like if you've got people that you want to introduce to Scooby Doo and all of that, yeah, definitely screen it. But I get where Riley's coming from. Like I, as a single 20-year-old ish person, wouldn't just run out and watch it. However,
sorry.
If I had kids, you know, if I was at that age.
My audio cut out there, but anyway, sorry, go on.
I was 20 at some point, okay? Yeah, I think it's a cute movie. It's a fun movie. If you have a family and you want to watch it together, it's a great way to introduce them to that stuff, is what I would say. Do what you feel.
You do you.
And you called me indecisive. Do what you feel.
This was the best live action sequel to Scooby Doo from 2004 that I've seen this year. And hands down. No question. I mean, I'd planned on living a full, rich life without having seen the film. And I thought it was fun. Riley's done with me. He's done. No, in all seriousness, I thought the film was fun. It was cute. I have no objection to it. Is it a movie that I could have missed? Sure, but I had fun, and it was nice to have fun because we haven't had a lot of fun watching these movies this year because we've been sitting in the dark side, and I enjoyed it. It felt nostalgic to me, which is weird because I really don't have a lot of nostalgia for Scooby Doo, but it did feel nostalgic for me. I liked it.
Would you watch it with the boys?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. My
Ross would
family,
love it.
like
My 7-year-old Jossie would love it because he's all into ghosts and creepy stuff. He'd love this. He would wish that Slimer was in it. For some reason, he's obsessed with Ghostbusters. Never seen it. But anyway. So yes, I would. Hands down, I'd watch it with my kids.
I don't think one of us has actually answered the question yet.
I did. I totally
Did?
We
Watch
all
it with your
answered it.
family.
Not you. You sat on the fence, you fence sitter.
No, I said watch it with your family.
No, I'm
Bring
talking to
kids in.
Riley. No, you said.
So
There's
Pat,
always-
Pat said, "Do what you feel."
She did. She did. She can't deny the "you do you" comment. That's
There's noises in my house that I'm uncomfortable with.
what does the doll say?
It's
No,
your
I'm.
It's really starting to freak me out because it's just like I know it's the people downstairs. I know it's the people downstairs, but it just sounds like it's coming from the bathroom.
Do you know it's the people downstairs?
I'm gonna pee in a corner in my room.
There's no people downstairs. Wait a second. You live in the basement. No, okay. All right, JT, let's hear it.
I guess I'd say skip it. It just didn't make a lot of sense, you know. Like, yeah, it's pretty bad. But I was gonna say something positive, but I can't think of anything.
I broke him. Now he's a TIFF guy. He's all about that film festival.
Yeah, it was okay. I wouldn't, if I had kids, I wouldn't show it to them though. But
You wouldn't even show it to your kids. JT just wants to pretend this movie doesn't exist.
He
Instead,
was living such a happy life before he watched it.
if JT had kids, they'd be sitting down watching Zodiac. That's what they would. Oh,
Scooby Doo on a parental lock.
that's right.
They're the only movies his
Need
kids
a
aren't allowed to
code.
watch.
Oh my
What's
god.
our next series gonna be?
Scooby Doo.
Just doing Scooby Doo. We haven't decided that yet, but we will do that. First of all, thank you to all of you for doing this because I love this. I love that we've been doing this. It's been fun for me. Before we wrap up, here's a question for you all. Before we wrap up, if you had to pick one film that we've watched to watch again and you can't pick your own, what would it be?
Okay, remind me again what
Yeah,
we want?
Social Network.
Huh?
Mark
The
Zuckerberg.
Social
Oh
Network.
my gosh, we've been doing
The
it
Big
since
Short.
then. Whoa.
The Imposter, Zodiac, and Scooby Doo Monsters Unleashed. Leave your comments in the space below. In the comments section. I'm new at this.
I choose The Social Network. I completely forgot that we watched that movie, actually. And I could have led a long and happy
Without having seen Social Network. There.
But I would watch it again. I would probably make my mom watch it because she likes to have those like intellectual conversations or whatever. So, we could probably do something with that.
Yeah, not like on this podcast.
We spent half of this podcast pitching a Netflix show.
You watch, they're listening. Even if we get zero
Yeah, that's
views
right.
on this, there's gonna be a Scooby Doo.
Yeah, we're gonna post this video. It's gonna be happy. It's gonna be all up, and then a year later, we're gonna get copyright stricken from Netflix.
Tune in next week for my going back into Riverdale and seeing if Jughead does get abducted by aliens.
All right.
Yeah, Social Network. The other one. Which one would I watch again?
Yeah. Or recommend, but yeah.
And I can't pick my
But you
own.
can't pick your own.
Scooby Doo.
What? Really?
Woo!
Daniel is vindicated. He's
All right, that's all I needed to
The
hear.
whole
See you
thing was
guys.
worth it. That's
Because I feel like The
incredible.
Social Network could have been a documentary that I didn't have to watch people act in, and it would have given me more stuff.
You guys pick the most random reasons for
The
things.
Big
It
Short
amazes me.
is my Scooby-Doo film for Steve because I never understood it the whole way through, even when they had people explaining it. I never
Margot
found out.
Robbie in a bathtub didn't explain it to you well enough.
I was like, yeah, got it. I never found out who the villain was in that one. I really loved the movie.
Oh, obviously not that much.
Oh,
There's,
you know.
Zodiac,
Yeah, I was like the Odyssey.
Adventures in Odyssey. What?
That one was a good one. I may not have had a lot of sleep. Like I may have been struggling through it. But again, I feel like there's so many documentaries that you could watch, you get that much information out of. Although there were some great actors in it. So I guess, I mean, if you want like a fun, cute little mystery movie, just throw on some popcorn and watch some Scooby Doo. If you're not going to watch The Imposter, and if you wouldn't choose The Imposter over Scooby Doo, I don't want to know you.
Watch some Scooby Doo.
It's cute.
Daniel.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like the Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
I didn't like the stock market crash one.
Daniel wouldn't watch any of them.
I liked The Imposter, but documentaries aren't really my thing. I guess I would go with Zodiac.
That's enough.
I liked
for
that
me.
one. Well, yeah,
Zodiac would have been my
yeah.
second.
Second choice. Woo!
I guess to be fair, I like Zodiac now because of Scooby Doo. So full
Very
circle.
similar.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's fair. Jason.
I think I watched my movie again.
But you can't pick yours.
Can't pick your own.
I think then I really liked The Social Network. It was also one of my choices, though. No, I really liked it. It really showed Zuckerberg in all his glory. The big piece of crap. And it was also really interesting to seeing the phases of Facebook and what happened during their drama. I also really like Zodiac. Actually, I've never seen that movie. I know about the Zodiac killer just from like BuzzFeed.
Tell us
yeah,
what Zodiac killer, and we'll tell you what kind of bread you are.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but no, Zodiac was really good. The mystery of it and like what happened. I saw like on the video I saw on BuzzFeed, it did like summarize like with like all the theories and stuff. But like seeing it come to light was really good. And then they had like an A-list cast as well. I think I'd watch that again just because I've seen Social Network a bunch of times. And that was my initial first choice. But yeah, both were really good. If not, I'd watch my movie again.
Or Scooby Doo. Yeah, I just straight up watch Social Network because I'm breaking my own rule. No, I'm kidding.
I was gonna say you cannot. We all know you wouldn't watch friggin' Imposter again.
Well, to be fair, I did watch it again because I slept through it the first time. I would watch Zodiac again. Mind you, maybe it's...
I'm the winner of this season.
Hey, you know what? You picked a good one.
I need a new season because last time I wasn't gonna win with Gremlins because and this time you guys are just too late.
Come up with new rules. We'll change the rules. We'll change the rules. No, I really would. I thought Zodiac was really well made. Yeah. And you know, it told a good story. And Fincher, I think, even bad Fincher is more interesting than the average film in a lot of ways. Like, even less interesting of his films of his, I find pretty interesting enough. Big Short, I think, is good. I don't think I'd revisit it. I don't think Scooby Doo. You know what? Scooby Doo would be my Scooby 2. It'd be, my number 2. And The Imposter. Actually, I would go with The Imposter if I need a nap. That would be the film.
Blur this out for me.
I don't know how to do that. So anyway,
great. It can go to print.
It's just going to print. Thank you all so much. This has been so much fun. I'm glad that we did this again. I look forward to us doing it again in the future. I mean, for the last time, remember, for you at home, actually,
last time?
It's the last time. This is our last episode. Do you remember?
I thought you meant it forever.
Not ever. No, we'll go back. It's not about the movies you missed. It's about the movies that matter to you.